Hey y'all, so today's video is going to be a little bit of a transparency moment. I don't believe I posted a video last week, and so I just wanted to make sure that y'all know I have not left, but there is some life things happening for me, and if you could tell from the title of this video, I am currently looking for a house. So I mentioned in my very first video coming back to this channel that I was going to make it a point to try and get up out of this house by the end of the year. I currently rent this house, and quite honestly, that's a whole different situation with this house. I've been in this house since 2018, and it's been a journey, and I could do a whole different story time on that. But anyway, the point of this video is kind of just like, so you all know, it takes, those of you that have never looked for a house before, it takes a lot. On top of me looking for a house, I have been sick since Christmas night. Like, I am dealing with what I like to call 3-year-old germs. My nephew, he's 3, and he's just so cute, all like very lovable. So he's like hugging and kissing all on me. And he was sick, but when he stays sick, right? And so I haven't built up my immunity to his sickness yet, because unfortunately I don't see him as often as I should or really want to. That's going to be one of my goals for this year too. But anyway, so I haven't built up my immune system to him yet. And so I always get sick when I see him. And this time, whatever he passed on to me is so resistant to all kinds of medicine. Like, I have this lingering cough, and my nose has been stuffed where I'm like, I'm struggling over here. But anyway, so on top of that, I am looking, like that. Again, the whole point of this video is talking about how I'm looking for a house, right? So I'm looking for a house, and it's a lot of work between lender shopping. Luckily, I finally landed with a good realtor when I was looking for houses last year. I was running across some nightmare realtors that just went ghost and stopped answering their phones. And, getting something scheduled for viewing was terrible. So I had a nightmare last year just finding a good realtor. And luckily this year, I actually had a realtor that I had been connected with last year that I was going to work with this year. But she has sometimes like a lot of personal conflicts. And at the beginning of this year, she actually, she was transitioning brokerage companies. So she wasn't available to help me this year. And so when I went on Zillow, which a lot of you know about Zillow, it's a home buying site. I went on Zillow, and I just said, find me the next available agent, because I was trying to tour a house. The day that I had contacted the realtor, she told me she wasn't set up, so she couldn't show me, and she didn't have a friend available to show me. So I just went to Zillow, found a realtor, and the young lady that they have connected me with has been great. So luckily I have her now, and she's very communicative, like just been amazing. So we went to go view some houses yesterday, and I ended up liking 2 of them, and I ended up liking one of them a lot. And so the one that I ended up really liking is actually a fix and flip from a company called Jar House. It's basically like they buy these, old dilapidated houses, and then they supposed to fix them up and flip them and sell them for a profit, which is totally fine. I don't have anything against that. What I do have something against is a lot of the reviews with Jar House say that they don't communicate, which me and my agent experienced firsthand. We tried to call them while we were in the house because the lights would not turn on, and we wanted to know if it was an electrical problem. We looked at the breaker box. We couldn't get the switch to flip back on and stay. So we were like, maybe it's a blown fuse. Maybe something's wrong with the switch. So we tried to contact them while we were at the viewing, and we would get no answer. Now, if you're a company and you have multiple people working for you, there should be at least one person available to answer the phone. And if they're not available, they should be able to call you back. Like, we left a message, and we continued to view the house, and we viewed the house for like an additional 15 minutes, and nobody called us back within those 15 minutes. So my agent tried to contact the listing agent directly, and it's the company phone number. So that's also a red flag. Like, the listing agent doesn't have a separate number from the company. It's just like, it's weird. And then the other red flag was the reviews. So the reviews that I saw on, like, you know, when you Google this company, it was people saying that, again, poor communication, but they cover stuff up and they don't disclose anything. And they try to say that they can't disclose anything, or they're not responsible for disclosing anything because the sellers don't actually live in the houses. So they wouldn't know what's wrong with houses. They just buy them, flip them, and put them back on the market. But I did read a few reviews where people have been able to get in touch with the sellers that sold to Jar House, and they did disclose things, and Jar House did not disclose it to the person that then bought the house after they flipped it. So there's things like that. There's actually been lawsuits out against this company for hiding stuff and not disclosing stuff, or, you know, covering up mold issues and not properly fixing things. And because a lot of their houses are listed as is, they are not liable for fixing that stuff, but they should also disclose it, especially if they know it, you know the issue is there. So there's been people talking about how they, when they get to closing, Jar House kind of changes the contract and makes it so they don't close, or they take another offer at the last minute. It's been a whole bunch of nightmare stories, and again, none of those are mine. That's just what the Google reviews say. But I tend to believe people that go out of their way to make a negative review, because one, it takes a lot of it takes a lot of work to write a review, but also the amount of information that these people are giving in the reviews, it's like, it would be hard for me to believe that those are fake reviews. So all that to say, we went and viewed houses yesterday. The one I really liked is a Jar house, but I don't know if we're gonna, have any communication with them. I don't know if we're ever gonna hear back from them. The second best one that I liked, after really thinking about it last night, I was like, I don't know if I really like this. Like, yes, it is the cheapest house out of the whole list that I initially had, but it's right on the street. Like, there's a sidewalk, and as we were there, we heard a lot of people, we saw a lot of traffic just driving by, and I saw a lot of people just walking by the house. And I was like, I don't know if I would be comfortable with people just driving and walking by. Like, what if I'm on vacation? The area, I don't know too much about the area. I don't know if somebody would try to come break in or what have you. On top of that, the contractor appeared to still have been living in the house. There was a bed in the house. There was, liquor in the fridge, food in the fridge. It was like somebody was still living there. And I was like, I understand if you can't afford to move out while you're trying to sell your house, or if you're having the contractor live there for a discount, but leave it in a presentable condition. Like, I'm not saying his bed was messy and there was stuff all over the house, but there was food in the cabinets, there was food in the fridge, there was stuff in the, my thing just fell down. There was stuff like somebody was still visibly living there. And if you're trying to show a house, I feel like it should very minimal. Like, if somebody's still living there, their stuff should be confined, like, within a box. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was stuff in the cabinets. All of that stuff should be in a box somewhere. I understand if you have fridge stuff that you need to keep in the fridge, but, like, there was, like, crazy stuff in there. Like I said, dude had liquor in there. There was, like, open containers of food, and it was just like, I would have to wait for this person to move out and for them to clean this house for me to be able to move in. And that would have to be done within the 21 days, And really, 7 days is all you get here in Georgia of due diligence. Like, once those 7 days have passed and you've signed the contract, you can't back out. So my thing is, within that time, let's say that what he needs to do is not done, but I'm stuck. I'm basically stuck in the house or in the contract, because in Georgia you don't have any kind of back out period after those 7 days. So I was just like, you know, there wasn't a ton. Hold on, this is my realtor calling me. I totally forgot where I was. I had to take that call from my realtor. I didn't know she worked on weekends or not. So I had texted her and asked her if she was working on weekends, and she called me. She's like, this is why I love the realtor that I am working with right now. Like, she is by far, hands down, the best realtor that I have been able to secure here in Atlanta. Like, it's been amazing. But anyway, basically, what I'm trying to say is I decided that I didn't really feel comfortable with the Jar House property, because even though it looked really nice, we can't get in touch with anybody. They're not returning calls. And a lot of their reviews, people are saying, like, they're just shady and sketchy. And I don't want a headache, especially as a first-time home buyer. The second house, I decided I didn't really love either, because it was right on the street. And people were just walking up and down the sidewalk. It was around a stadium. The other thing is I saw 2 police officers, like, just patrolling the area while I was going and viewing the house. I was like, I don't know if this is a good sign or a bad sign. You know, like when you see police, you're like, I don't know if that's good that they're patrolling the area so I feel safer, or if it's bad, especially as a black person, because it's like, that could go either way for real. So anyway, so I'm really just back to square one. I just sent her a list of 8 houses that I liked. She's going to do her research on them. We're going to see if anything comes about from that. But yeah, it's been a fun experience. I wanted to make a video and talk about what I'm experiencing as somebody in the home buying process, because like a lot of people got into the home buying process back in 2021 and 2022, like during the pandemic, really. And that's because interest rates were at all-time lows. I mean, you got some people out there that have like 2.75% interest. Like, that's insane. Like, interest rates have never been as low as they were in 2021 and 2022. Unfortunately, I wasn't financially ready to make any moves in 2021 and 2022. In fact, in 2021 and 2022, I was working as a receptionist. I was doing DoorDash. Like, I had just left Amazon. Like, I was in a bad way, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially towards, like, the end of 2022, like, the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, I was not financially stable to make any kind of moves. I would have had to live in a shack. Even with the interest rates being as low as they were, I wouldn't have even had enough money to make a down payment on a house. Let's just say that. So, then, in 2023, interest rates skyrocketed as we experienced inflation. So when I was looking last year at houses, the interest rates were at like the high 7s. And once I saw high 7, I stopped looking. But some interest rates got up above 8% last year. And I had stopped looking before they got that high. But nonetheless, you go from like a year difference and you're basically doubling, tripling interest rates. It was insane. And so now they're slowly coming back down. A lot of people are saying that they don't see them getting down back to like the 3s. Like, really, unless we go to war, maybe, or there's another pandemic, which who knows? You know, nobody can predict that. But people are thinking that they're going to get back to the normal, and I say normal in quotes because interest rates are always fluctuating, but they tend to stabilize around 4 or 5%. And people don't see us getting to those levels until late 2024 or possibly even 2025. Like, my research, some people are saying 2026. And here is why I don't want to wait until the end of 2024 or next year or the year after. I am right now financially in a position to be able to make a move on a house. I have enough down payment to make a move on a house. I have a good job that would support me. I have a good stable job. Let me put the stable in there. Job that would support me to get a house. I can start building equity, and that's how I'm looking at it. I can start building equity, and then when those rates do come down, I can refinance if I'm at my break-even point or if it makes sense, right? So why lose out on being able to build equity waiting and hoping for a market to get somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Like, interest rates they're still slightly high at 6.3 to 6.5%. You may find a 7% still out there. Somebody's just really lagging behind the times. But usually they're between 6 and 7%, I would say. And so the lender that I've decided to go with is a good lender. I worked with them last year. Last year they were the only lender that I reached out to. But this year I reached out to 3 lenders, and they still came out on top. So I'm just like, I'm going with you, right? So I'm staying with them. Unfortunately, they don't have a ton of down payment assistance programs, but luckily the loan that I got approved for, my down payment is covered. My down payment is covered, so I don't have to worry about that. My closing costs are 3.5%, about roughly 3.5% of the home price, but they allow up to 3% credit, seller credit. So I'd be responsible for 0.5% of closing. Not bad. Especially because I have that money to be able to do that. If I had to pay down payment and closing, I probably would not be able to make a move right now. But since I'm in a loan program that does cover down payment, I can bust a move. And my realtor is, sorry for saying so much, by the way. My realtor is confident that she can at least get closing costs covered. And that's really on any property. So I'm going to put my faith in her because, again, she's been wonderful. So that is my plan. What I will do for those of you that are looking for homes, though, is I will make a separate video about everything, like my whole process, and like the down payment assistance programs that I found, how I found my lender, how I found my realtor. Like, I'll make a separate video just for that. This video was kind of explained to y'all, like, hey, if you do see me kind of going in and out over the next month or two, just know I'm not gone. And I was 100% truthful when I said that I'm back this year, but life events are happening. Like today, I am going to be packing, and I haven't even found a house yet. But what I need to do, and what I want to do rather, is I want to consolidate to the bare minimum. Because when I move, I thought my phone's ringing. Because when I move, I don't want to move a bunch of shit. I don't want to have to worry about selling a bunch of shit. So I'm consolidating, and I'm going to start trying to sell stuff that I know I'm not taking with me to my future home. Because I want to be in a house by March. That is my goal. My goal is to be in a house by March, because that is when my pre-approval expires, and I don't want my credit to have to be run again, to be quite honest. So hopefully I find something by March. The houses that I really like, I will take y'all on a tour with me. When I do a second tour, I always want to do like two tours of a home that I'm really considering. So yeah, that is all for today's video. Like I said, I will do a follow-up video as to the programs and stuff that I found for those of you that may also be in the housing market. But with that, as always, peace, love, and positivity, and I will see y'all next video.